Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited because it is that time of year again. We are approaching the Sephora Vib sale. So this only happens twice a year. I always do a recommendations video for you guys, telling you about all of the new products since the last sale that I recommend you pick up during the sale. This is a great time to stock up. You know, NASCAR Teddy is starting us off right, okay? He is zooming down the street. It wouldn't be a Babs video without someone running a hacksaw or NASCAR Teddy doing laps around the track, you know? I don't know what else to say. He's here every day. He's committed to his craft. So let's talk about the Sephora sale. So this is coming up. I like to do my recommendations a few days before so you can really get your carts ready and really figure out what you want to purchase. So I will put all the information down below, but the sale is starting on April 1st and running to April 11th. It's 20% off Rouge, 15% off VIB, 10% off Insider, and they do have different dates. So Rouge can shop from April 1st to the 11th, and then VIB can start shopping April 5th to the 11th, and Insider April 7th to the 11th. They also are doing 30% off all Sephora collection the entire run of the sale. You can use this as many times as you want. The discount, I mean, you can go in store, you can do it online, you could make 10 orders, 2 orders, 20 orders, whatever your little heart desires. So this is truly the time to stock up on skincare, hair care, makeup, stuff you go through a lot. I have a lot of just like boring products in my cart, like shampoo, brow products, things that I go through a lot. And then of course, a great time to try new things or pricey things that maybe you had your eye on. As always, I'm gonna be moving quickly. We have a lot to go through. These are the best of the best, the products that I swear by, that I recommend you pick up. I will link everything that I talk about today down below. And then under that, I will also have a list of products that I'm still loving. So this is gonna be mostly newer products that I've discovered since the sale in November. And then again, I'll have products I'm still loving down below. So all the links will be down below in case there's something you want to check out or something that you want to pick up. Also, let me know if you'd like to see a wish list video. I really didn't think I had much on my wish list, and then a lot of new products are being announced, so my basket is growing. So let me know if you'd like to see that, and maybe I can do that and post that in the next couple days. But if you're new here, I hope you subscribe. If you enjoy recommendations, Sephora content, first impressions, makeup videos, give this video a huge thumbs up. And we have a lot to go through, so let's go ahead and dive in. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with Complexion products. I feel like this has been the year of Complexion. We have seen so many new products like concealers, foundation, blushes. So I'm going to start there. Side note, I used a new tanner, the Loving Tan Platinum. What is happening here? I apologize. You know, it is what it is. I even washed it off on my hands within an hour. So I don't know how I feel about this tanner. So if you see this, you know what? It is what it is. Usually I feel like I'm pretty good at self-tanning my hands, but this one was a doozy. I have to kind of figure out if I even like it. I did want to mention I'm still enjoying the Freck Rich Bitch Moisturizer because although it's not new, it is still top drawer. It never leaves. It's just such a nice, thicker, heavier moisturizer for combo skin. A lot of times really hydrating bases tend to cake up my makeup, move my makeup, and this one doesn't do that. I mean, I've had this for a long time. I actually should probably buy another one just because it's probably expired. I mean, I don't notice anything bad about it. I used it today. It's just such a nice, thicker moisturizer that lays beautiful under makeup, gives me hydration for my combo skin without making it heavy, greasy, separate. So this is just a staple I really cannot live without. I wanted to give it another shout out. Even though it's not new, I'm still loving it so much. I have one primer to rave about. This is new and this has changed the game for me. I'm all about smoothing primers. My favorite before this was the Tarte Timeless Smoothing, but I have to give it to the new Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer. This primer is incredibly smoothing without being heavy. Again, it's not gunking up. I noticed with the Tarte sometimes if I applied too much, I almost felt like it was gunking up my foundation. This doesn't do it. This is like a mixture of a gel and a moisturizer with a little bit of silicone in there. And another thing I love about this is there is some sort of shine control. It's not dry. I wouldn't even even say it's matte, but there's a shine control element that I love. So I just put this in my T-zone, right in my chin area where I get oily, and somehow this just makes my makeup lay smoothly while also keeping me less oily, which means less powder, less blotting. I'm able to wear more dewy foundations. This is hands down the most smoothing primer I have ever tried, and I wasn't even gonna grab it, but it is top pick. I could get rid of all my other smoothing primers and just keep this one. Holy grail status. I'm in love with this. Moving on to foundation, I actually have 2 skin tints and 2 foundations to mention. There are so many new foundations. They're literally dropping like that. A lot of them have been very dewy, radiant, just too oily for my skin type, but I have found some that work for me. The first one is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. This is a gorgeous foundation. Now this can be a little oily on me if I don't use a primer that has shine control. So when I pair this with my Hourglass, I don't get oily. It wears beautifully. I love that it gives me a little bit of radiance, but the texture on this is thin. Coverage is good, medium. I can really build it in areas that I need to. It wears well and it looks like skin. Right now, I did mix this with my soft matte. My soft matte, I'm ride or die for this from NARS, so I will link it down below. It's not new, but these two, it's like the matte coverage and the dewy, just sort of skin-like look. Married is perfect for me, but I can also wear this alone. I just have to wear a mattifying primer just in my T-zone, and it's just beautiful. When I'm looking for foundation recommendations, I'm looking for something that wears well, that's smoothing, that doesn't feel greasy, isn't transferring. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, and keep in mind that I do have combo skin. My next pick for a more glam full coverage foundation is the new Makeup Forever HD Skin. Now here's my thing. This is not nearly as dewy, in my opinion, as the NARS. This is more for, I would say, oily skin and combo skin. If you have dry skin, I would say you probably have to really prep your skin and hydrate. I just don't think you're gonna get, you know, the dewy natural look without having a ton of products underneath. It wears well on me. I don't get oily with this, but it's really smoothing. And when I did my first impression on this, a lot of you were like, wow, your skin looks phenomenal in this. It really is good if you have texture and pores like I do. It's just very smoothing on the skin. It can be built up. Again, you could do a lighter layer. I would say the coverage on this is like medium on the lower end, but you can build it up. So this would be for those of you that like a little bit more of that like matte natural look, and the NARS is more of like that glowy light reflecting. So these would be my top picks that are able to be built up and really give me that glam look or the natural look depending on how much product I use. Now my other 2 picks are more of like a skin tint tinted moisturizer. The first one being the Beauty Blender Bounce Skin Tint. It is really skin-like and glowy, but the texture's thin, so I don't have that thick, sticky, emollient feeling that I've been feeling lately with like the Charlotte Tilbury, Danessa Myricks. This is just very comfortable on the skin. The coverage is nice though. You can build it. I would say like a light medium, you can build it to a medium. So I feel like it's versatile in the sense that you can build it up in areas that you may need to cover, but it really is more of like a natural, just kind of giving you that light medium coverage, glowy finish, but it wears well, and that's what I'm looking for. So it doesn't feel heavy, it wears beautifully, it doesn't enhance my texture, and there's just enough coverage to make me feel comfortable in areas that I need to build it up. This is a really beautiful one. I do think that any skin type would like this. If you're oily, definitely use a mattifying primer, but I do think that dry skin would really love this as well, just because it really is hydrating and comfortable on the skin. So I really enjoy this. I did not think I would, but that one shocked me. And then I really love this. I feel like no one talks about this. I actually did an ad with YSL on this. I tried it before I agreed, and honestly, I was thinking, I'm not gonna like this. I'm gonna have to turn this down, but I loved it. So this is the YSL New Bare Look tint. So I have the shade here 5. I originally used 8 and it's just a little bit too deep for me. 5 is more my speed. This is best applied with your hands, and I know that's weird, but you can just really rub this in and be out the door. I would say that this has more coverage than they claim. This is more of like a light medium, buildable to medium coverage. Very skin-like, but it's not heavy, greasy, slipping off my face. It allows me to build coverage where I need it, and it wears beautifully. So these two are sort of the same kind of vibe. I would say you can build the Beauty Blender up more if you really want to do a little bit more of a glam, you know, medium, high, medium coverage, whereas this is really just beautiful if you want to even out your complexion, you know, add some mascara, some bronzer, some lip gloss, and be out the door. It's just beautiful because it wears well, gives me that dewy look, but it also just evens my skin tone out and makes me feel confident. So these two really impressed me this year. Moving on to concealer, I have two that I would recommend. The first would probably be my top pick, which is the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Concealer. Now, my only thing is, I would say this is more of a medium buildable, but this is just foolproof. It is so thin in texture. It has a good coverage. You don't need a lot of it. It's very hydrating, very smoothing. I really can't say enough good things about this. If you have fine lines, dryness, this is a great option that's actually going to give you coverage, but also hydration. My one and only complaint I've mentioned many times is there is a little bit of a packaging flaw. When you pull this out, the wand gets a little bit stuck in the stopper, so it's a little bit annoying, but the formula is so good. The price point is great. I really, really recommend this. And then for those of you that don't have dryness, you like more of a matte, full coverage, really smoothing type of concealer, I would recommend the KVD Good Apple. Now this one has great coverage. I feel like it's more of a matte, sort of like powdery feel. It's one of those that I would reach for more so for like full glam. I would not pair this with like a tinted moisturizer. I would go with something like the LYS. So this is definitely not hydrating in my opinion, but it's quite smoothing and it just works well under the eye to really just kind of give you that coverage, make everything look even, bright, and smooth. So this is more of like a full glam, sort of matte feel in my opinion, where the LYS can kind of go either way, but it's much more hydrating. So if you don't struggle with dryness or you have oily skin and you just like that really smooth, blanked out look, I would recommend the KVD Good Apple Concealer. Moving on to powder, I'm still ride or die for my Huda Beauty and Pound Cake. This is just the most smoothing, perfect powder for my skin type. I just love it. It makes my skin just so smooth. It helps with my texture. It's lightweight. I don't feel that it clings. I love the color. I'm actually going to repurchase because I'm getting quite low. And then I also want to shout out the Dior Backstage Powder No Powder. I'm actually going to get a deeper shade for a bronzer. I have 2N and I also have 3N. So if I've gone a little bit heavy with my cream blush, which I do often, this is one of the only powders I can use that doesn't disrupt it. I just take my Beauty Blender Power Pocket Puff, another recommendation, and I will just go into the product and I can press on top of like the dewiest, you know, cream blush or bronzer, and it doesn't disrupt it. It doesn't lift it. It just gives me a little bit of a set without moving anything underneath. It really is the best powder I've ever tried that works with cream products. So if you wear a lot of cream products and you want something really, really light to set them, this is gonna be your best friend. So I am gonna grab another one for a bronzer shade, but this is just such a unique product, truly one of a kind. I think if you love cream products, you need to definitely try this powder out. They just work together beautifully. Moving on to bronzer, I didn't have a new powder bronzer to mention. I'm still loving the ones that I talked about in the last sale, so I'll link those down below. But I did want to shout out these cream bronzer sticks from Rare Beauty. These are just so easy to use. I admittedly don't use a cream bronzer too often, but this formula wowed me just with how easy it was to blend. It just was effortless, not too pigmented, not too sticky, not too sheer. I mean, it just went over my foundation like that. I feel like anybody could use this. So if you're new to cream bronzer, or if you're looking for a formula that's just mistake proof, I would highly recommend these. My only complaint, not really a complaint, but I do wish they offered some cooler tone shades that were for contour, because these are truly a cream bronzer. So they're very warm. They're not going to give you a shadow. They're really going to give you warmth. But the formula on this is just so incredibly easy to use that I had to give this a mention for those of you that love cream bronzers and you're looking for a new one to try. All right, let's move on to my favorite category. This was the hardest one. I'm sure you guys know I am a cream blush fanatic. I'm a blush fanatic, but I really have been enjoying cream blushes in the past couple years. What I look for in a cream blush is nothing that is patchy, no lifting, very easy to blend, can go over powder. That is like the biggest thing I'm looking for. So the ones I'm gonna mention are versatile. They're very easy to use, they're foolproof, they go over powder or an unset face. So let's talk about the new shades in the LYS Higher Standard. This is the Satin Matte Cream Blushes. So I originally bought 2 shades when they first released, and they did just come out with 3 new shades. If you don't like something that is sticky or that looks really glowy and makes you look radiant and dewy, this would be the one for you. It has nice pigment, very easy to apply. It goes over powder just effortlessly, wears beautifully, and I love applying my cream blushes with a sponge. I will never just like swipe it on my face. I know some people do. I feel like if I do that, it will patch really just any formula. So for me, I like to use a sponge, but I love these new shades. If you were looking at the LYS blushes, but you felt like they all looked a little bit too deep, or maybe just not bright enough for you, I think these new shades would be a perfect addition to your collection. Combo skin, oily skin, this would work for anyone, but I could see dry skin people that really like that dewy look liking other options that I'm going to talk about, but I love these 3 new shades. I would highly recommend them. My favorite has to be the pink. Now, if you prefer a dewy blush, but you still want to be able to use it on an unset face or with powder, I have been loving the new Huda Beauty Cheeky Tint Blush Sticks. My favorite shade has to be Proud Pink. These are totally different because they are way dewier than the LYS. They're still very lightweight, but they almost make you just look super glowy and dewy without adding texture. It doesn't look heavy on the skin. They go over powder beautifully. I would definitely use a sponge. I also really love Coral Cutie. I mean, these colors are just punchy and fun, and you can see, like, when I turn my hand, God, that self-tan is horrible, but when I turn my hand, you can see just like the glow that comes off of these. They're totally different than the LYS in terms of formula. I think a lot of people would also like this shade Perky Peach, which is just a really beautiful peachy shade. I just use the bottom of my sponge and just tap them on, and they just bring my face alive. I don't know what else to say about them, but they're a beautiful formula. Something about these is special, super easy to use, non-sticky. I've just been really enjoying them. And then, of course, you knew I was going to rave about the Patrick Ta blush duos. So he did come out with this holiday palette last year, and then it was discontinued. So it was limited edition, which kind of wish it just would have been permanent. Everybody was going nuts over it, including me. But now he's released these in singles. So you can pick up each of these duos in a single pan, which I think is really nice, because if you're looking at this and you're like, well, I'm not going to use these, they're way too bright for my taste, you can just grab this one now. Or if you really want that baby doll color, this one is gorgeous. So you can now get them as singles, which I think is amazing. And then he also did release a brand new shade that's never been seen before. This one is called She's Blushing. This one is just so pretty. It's like a pinky kind of sunburnt look. This formula is so special because you go in with the powder first and then you put the creams on top. Just brings your face to life. I would say this is sort of in the middle. It's not as matte as the LYS, but it's not as dewy as the Huda Beauty, and it doesn't have like a shimmer in it. This formula is top tier. Like, I feel like it's mistake proof. I am just so in love with this. My favorite colors would have to be She's Baked, She's a Doll, I love this new one. She's blushing. I mean, to be honest, I own every single one and I've purchased every single one. So if you were looking for a new blush, I'm telling you that the formula on the Patrick Ta blush duos is incredible. The powder and the cream, they're just beautiful, and you can now get them as singles. So this is a huge recommendation from me. Any of the colors I feel like you'll be happy with because the formula is perfection. Surprisingly, I have no new highlighters. I'm still loving the ones from before, as well as eyeshadow palettes. I really haven't been focusing in on that. I feel like all the releases have been more complexion based. I'm still loving my Makeup by Mario Master Mattes, my Patrick Ta, the Natasha Denona midi palettes. So I will link all those down below in case you're interested in wondering like what I would recommend. I am playing around with the new pastel palette from Natasha Denona, and I'm having fun playing with it. I really enjoy it, but I don't think it's a necessity. I do think that it's beautiful if you really want something fun like my eyes today. So I will link this as well if you're interested. I'm enjoying it, but I really tend to go for my neutral palettes, and they haven't changed from the last sale. I just didn't want to skip over that because I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, wait, you didn't recommend any eyeshadow? And I'm just still loving the same ones from last year. Moving on to lips, I have to give a shout out to the Makeup by Mario lip liners. I love this formula so much. On one side, you have a brush that you can use to blend the corners, which is super helpful. And then you have a wooden pencil lip liner. It's such a beautiful formula. It's not as, I guess, dry as like a MAC, but it's not slippy and slidey. Very pigmented. My favorite shade has to be Travis. I thought it was too dark for me, but it's really not once you blend it out. And I did see that he is releasing, or he did release like 7 or 8 new shades. So I have 2 in my cart. If you're looking for a staple lip liner that's pigmented, that you can blend out with the brush, that lasts all day, it's just such a beautiful formula. So I had to give a shout out to these because like I said, I have 2 more that are in my cart. Also have to give a shout out to the ABH lip liners. This is a new release from them. I have Deep Taupe and I also have Cool Brown. I can't find Cool Brown, but I love the shades in these, just like the Mario. They really are tons of different like neutrals, nudes with different undertones, whether it be more taupey or more warm or brown. But I just love how long these wear. They're very pigmented. They don't get gunky. They don't smear all over your face. And I feel like I have control. Although the last time I checked, like a ton of these were out of stock. So I hope they restock before the sale. But these are my top 2 picks in terms of new lip liners. My most reach for as of recently. Now, in terms of lipsticks, I have 2 new formulas that are very different that I am enjoying. The first is more of a long wear, sort of liquid lipstick, but it's not so drying. It just feels more comfortable. And these are the Lip Maestros from Armani Beauty. So I have 2 very different shades. I have a pinky shade that's just like that beautiful baby doll pink that I wear a lot of the time. And then I also got this new shade that I'm really loving, and this is in 109. This one has a little bit of sparkle in it, but it's like a nude with a little bit of like glitter in it almost, but it's nothing like chunky, and it just looks so beautiful on the lips. I will say the shades on the Sephora website look way different. Like I had a hard time figuring it out. They almost look way darker than they actually are. So it's kind of hard to figure out your shades, but these are the 2 that I have right now. And I do have another one that looks like a really warm kind of nude in my cart. So if you want something that's like a little bit more long wear than a bullet lipstick, but it's not gonna dry your lips out, definitely check these out from Armani. Now, if you want something high shine, juicy, but with pigment, highly recommend the new Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow Lip Plumping Serums. So these have like a cooling effect to them. They're super high shine. They're almost like a gloss in a stick. My favorite is Bare Glow, and I do think that these are probably going to be sold out like the first day, but I'm gonna apply some. It's almost like you applied like a gloss, or I wanna say like a lip oil. It's like the second they touch your lips, it's just super high shine. They can be a little bit messy, but they're so, so beautiful because they do have like a pigment. So they're not just like sheer. So my favorite would be Bare Glow. I also like the Apricot Glow, which looks like this. This self-tan is just sending me into another dimension. I'm sorry, you guys, like honest to God. Last night we went to UFC and Ian was like, what's going on with your tan? And I'm like, you know what? Good thing the lights are low. Okay, and then we also have Rose Glow. So you can see they have a good amount of pigment. Oh my God, that tan looks horrible. I don't recommend that tan, by the way. Once I saw the promo photos and people demoing these, they just looked so high shine and juicy. They're just a beautiful product, a little bit different than what we've been seeing. And I did see that Tarte has a new version very similar to this with like a plumping effect. So I'm interested to try those out. But if you like that really high shine glossy look with a little bit of that minty feel, I think you would really, really like these. Speaking of glosses, I'm still loving my Lawless Forget the Filler glosses. They really coat the lips. They're a little bit thicker. I wouldn't say they're super sticky, but they definitely coat your lips. And they just give you that super high shine finish. And they did release 3 new shades available at Sephora. I'm gonna throw swatches up for you just in case you're interested, but my favorite still has to be the Daisy Pink or the new shade called Glazed, which has a little bit of shimmer. These are just so beautiful, high shine. I have every single shade. I just rave about these over and over, so I wanted to mention these in case you weren't aware that there are new shades on Sephora. And the other gloss that's actually new, I really didn't think I was gonna like this, but I really enjoy it. It reminds me of the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb Heat that I really love and I still love, but I might like this one better. This is the Patrick Ta Plumping Lip Gloss in Full Syringe. So I will say that there's 5 shades and these are very, very sheer, which is why I went for the shade that had the most pigment. These are super high shine and they have that minty feel. There's a little bit of a cinnamon feel, very similar again to the Fenty, but I think I prefer this one. It's almost like a cinnamon mixed with mint, so it's not overpowering cinnamon. And they're super like high shine, almost like a lip oil. And you can see this has like some pigment to it, but it's not, you know, full pigment or anything like that. And it's just super high shine, very lightweight. I would not say that this formula is sticky or anything like that, but it really just gives you that like glass-like glowy look to your lips. And I actually like the cinnamon mixed with the mint. It just feels really refreshing, like almost like you just had, you know, a mint or something like that. It almost gives me like that popsicle lip look that you guys know I love. And I really am just shocked at how much I enjoy this. I do wish there was a little bit more pigment in the other shades because I would have picked up like a nude or a pink. This really surprised me. It just gives you that gorgeous like jelly glowy look for summer. Now, of course, these aren't new, but I just have to talk about how much I love the Too Faced Hangover Pillow Bombs. I have the original here. I also have the watermelon. I am scraping the sides. I actually have 2 watermelon in my cart. This is my favorite lip balm formula ever, hands down. I just love this formula so much. The watermelon is my favorite just because I love the smell, but it also gives me a little bit of a pink tint. These just coat your lips. They almost have a little bit of like a cooling sensation, almost like a menthol. They're super convenient. I don't have to put my hands in any pots. I just can't say enough good things about these. They just make your lips so soft and feel incredible. I have them all over my house and I'm getting low, so I'm gonna be stocking up on a couple more watermelon because I'm like scraping the sides of these. I don't have a new setting spray. I am still loving my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. This one just locks your makeup in. It is the best of the best. As you can see, I'm halfway through. I am gonna pick up another bottle. This is just my go-to whenever I'm going anywhere and I really want my makeup to hang on. And also coming into spring and summer, this is gonna be probably used a lot more just because it really locks your makeup down. I can't say enough good things about this. I've been through multiple bottles and it really is the best. I haven't found another one that has replaced it since. Still loving my Olaplex purple shampoo. I've gone through about 3 bottles of this. I have 2 more in my cart. This is phenomenal. It really tones your hair super quick. 2 to 3 minutes. I have to use this maybe once a week. It's just so convenient because it lathers well and it just gets the job done. I don't have to use it, you know, 3 times a week for 10 minutes at a time. It's really potent. If you're new to purple shampoo, I would be careful, but if you're seasoned like me and you want something that's really going to tone your hair and get the brassiness out, this is phenomenal. I'm also still loving my Color Wow Dream Coat. This is incredible for giving you that silky, smooth, shiny hair. It just really does such an amazing job at almost giving you like a Brazilian blowout, but it's not permanent. So you just spray this in damp hair and blow dry and it gives you that like silky, sleek look. This lasts for about 3 to 4 washes, so you don't have to use it every single time. It just really does a great job at giving you that glossy finish. It is a holy grail for me. Along with the Dream Coat, I have another Color Wow product I love. It's very similar, but it's in a different sort of form. So this is the Chris Appleton and Color Wow Money Mask for super glossy, expensive looking hair. So essentially it is a hair mask. You can see I've done damage. It smells really good. It's almost like Cool Waters, if you've ever smelled that perfume. It's sort of like aquatic, but this is a mask that you use in the shower. I think you leave it on for, it says 3 to 5 minutes. Again, you just use it, you know, every 3 to 4 shampoos, and it does essentially the same thing as the Color Wow Dream Coat, but it's in a mask form. When you use them together, your hair is literally like silk. So I tend to use these products when I'm doing my hair straight. It just makes it frizz-free and just super glossy and high shine. These products have just really wowed me from Color Wow, no pun intended, and I found quite a few products from the brand I love. I'm still absolutely obsessed with my Dyson Airwrap. I feel like if you have been eyeing it, do it. It really gives you the sort of just like blowout look that I could never achieve with a brush and a hairdryer. And it has a hairdryer attachment. I have since purchased a ton of different attachments. I have like the longer barrels. This one is new. It's a smaller brush. I just love this so much. I know it's super expensive, but if you can get 20% off or even 15% off, I think it's worth it. This is gonna be something that I use for years. I find myself using the Airwrap way more than curling my hair recently. It's just quicker, and I really like the look of just a little bit of body in my hair, a little bit of volume without having to spend a ton of time curling each section every day. So I highly recommend it. I know it's pricey, but for me, it has been 100% worth it. Now, if you are looking for a curling iron, my favorite by far has to be this T3 single pass 1-inch curling iron. I've talked about this so many times. This is the best curling iron I've ever tried. I actually recently bought another T3 curling iron that had like the smart technology, like the touch buttons, and I hate it. I don't feel like it curls the same. I feel like I keep hitting the buttons when I'm trying to maneuver it. I regret that purchase, but this has been my favorite curling iron of all time. Like if I could get rid of all of my stuff, honestly, I use this, my Dyson Airwrap, and a straightener, and that's it. That's kind of all I need. I just love this. It holds my curl better than any other curling iron. I have really, really fine hair. Like even as I've been filming, my hair just drops because it's just so fine in texture. It's so soft. But this is one of those tools that is my go-to. If I really want my curls to last, I will use this with a texturizing spray, pin my curls, and they do last. They just take a little bit of time to do all that. And lately I've just been doing straight hair or throwing it back. But if you're looking for an amazing, amazing curling iron, this one in particular is my top pick. And then finally, I have to rave about this product because I've fallen in love. I had Cheryl buy it, she loves it, and I have another one in my cart. This is the Fenty Skin Hydra Reset Intensive Recovery Hand Mask. This is incredible if you have dry hands, and I do. I'm constantly washing them. I don't like the feeling of like just anything on my fingertips at all. So I wash my hands a lot, whether I'm touching the dog, food, you know, I'm giving him treats. I just can't stand any sort of like food or just anything on my fingers. So I wash my hands a lot. This has saved me. So this is a mask. This is not like a hand cream you want to throw in your bag. This is like you coat your hands or your feet before bed and your hands will be so soft in the morning. I will say that this packaging sucks, which I mean, it's kind of annoying. I mean, you can see like all of the just packaging rubbing off just from me using it. And then the applicator is strange too. It has like 3 little slivers instead of just like a normal, I don't know, like tube. I don't know why they did that, but it's so incredibly just healing for my hands that it's worth it for me. So I just applied this before bed, and in the morning my hands are super soft. It is very thick. Again, it's a hand mask. It has a ton of glycerin in it. It's the top ingredient. So it really just kind of like puts a protective layer on your hands. Now I will say that it has a scent to it. I don't know. I don't mind the scent. It's very like, I would say maybe like a perfume type of scent, but I'm wearing it to bed, so it really doesn't like clash with anything, because once I wake up in the morning and wash my hands, I don't, you know, smell it anymore. But this is just phenomenal. I've tried a ton of different hand creams, and this has been my favorite just as a mask before bed. So, I mean, you can see I've loved this. I'm gonna repurchase it. I have another one in my cart. Okay guys, so I think that's everything. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff. So I will have a section in my description box with products mentioned, which is everything that I touched on today. And then below that, I will have products I'm still loving. I just didn't want to be too repetitive, but I am still loving a lot of the same perfume, makeup, skincare, hair care. So I really wanted to focus in on what stood out to me. So do let me know if you're shopping this sale. What are you picking up? What are you eyeing? Is there anything that you're kind of on the fence about? If you have any questions about new releases or my opinion on certain products, definitely comment down below. We can have a chat and I can hopefully give you my thoughts and steer you in the right direction. But I'm excited to shop this sale. I always stock up, and of course I will have a haul or two coming, and I'll continue to try out new products that come in as the sale goes on. Also, let me know if you want me to do a wish list. I usually don't have a ton on my wish list, but for some reason it keeps stacking up because a lot of new releases are being announced right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even if it was a little all over the place. I feel like there were certain categories I had a lot to talk about, and then some that I was still loving my recommendations from the last sale. So I didn't want this to be too long, but I really wanted to focus in on the products that I'm really, really loving. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel out. If you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.